Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining in. I know many are watching this video right now without destroying that like button, and many are still not subscribed to this channel. I don't know what you guys are waiting for, because in my videos I don't just talk only about the price action of Bitcoin, I also add educational stuff. So this here is a win-win for both sides. So if you are not subscribed to the channel, guys, then this is the right time. So now, starting this analysis here in a daily time frame, yesterday I talked about two important scenarios that was playing out here in price action of Bitcoin. First one was this non-failure swing, since the price of Bitcoin failed to find support at this S1 line, S2 line, and this point F area is where we are finding ourselves, and we are also expecting more of a range bound type of scenario around that area before price chooses and trend duration, because not just only the non-failure swing, but also regarding this reaccumulation phase from Wyckoff. And according to this reaccumulation phase, after price forms this, we usually see this price correction happening, and after this correction there will be longer term consolidation phase before price breaks here to the upside. And in our case, guys, this exact scenario could be playing out here in the price action of Bitcoin. So that's why I said you right now I'm actually expecting more of a range bound type of scenario playing out for Bitcoin price action. But what we don't want to happen at any cost, break the previous low, because breaking the previous low will indicate another lower highs, lower lows continuation pattern type of scenario. Because in a bigger frame, right, if you look at this in a whole, this here is still an higher highs, higher lows continuation pattern. So we want to remain in this bullish formation, right? So we don't want to break the previous low and start making this lower highs, lower lows continuation pattern. So that's why, guys, this chart is very important chart for us to identify where the price of Bitcoin might be possibly heading in the upcoming days. And not just only this one here, guys, if you also look at the price structure around this area in a bit different way, let me show you this interesting chart. So now, if we look at this here in a daily time frame, I want to show you this one very interesting scenario for Bitcoin. You can see here, guys, when the price of Bitcoin was forming this descending broadening wedge type of scenario, even though the descending broadening wedge is a bullish scenario like you can see here, but in our case the price failed to break the resistance line. And you can see here, resistance got tested plenty of time, but we were not able to break it. And after getting rejection, you can see we also saw this bigger pullback happening. And right now, if you monitor this price structure, it looks like the price of Bitcoin is forming another descending broadening wedge type of scenario. Because if you look at the price structure carefully, if this is going to be an actual movement here to the upside, then we want the price of Bitcoin also to break out of this important line of resistance. You can see resistance, the upper line area of this descending broadening wedge. So right now, if the support is going to be there, and if that was the support around this 45,000 area, right, around this lower line area of the descending broadening wedge, and if we are going to see a movement in this manner, you can see here, right, then the price should be getting attracted again towards this 49,000 range, where the upper line area of the descending broadening wedge is. And if we break the resistance and flip it into support, only then we will be expecting this relief rally type of scenario to continue for Bitcoin. Otherwise, it could still move here to the upside and so another pullback, just like here from the past Bitcoin price action, right? We don't want this kind of scenario to unfollow. So that's why, as long as the price of Bitcoin is inside this descending broadening wedge, the bulls could be still getting some chances. Because if this resistance is going to be broken and flipped into support, then there will be some relief rally type of scenario playing out here in price action of Bitcoin. But if you also look at this in a bit different way, let me show you another interesting chart. So guys, now what we are going to do here, we are going to look at this price action in a 4-hour time frame. And if you have watched my video from yesterday, I showed you this one price structure, which was pointing out more of a bump and run reversal scenario here in a smaller time frame. Because according to the bump and run reversal, you can see this falling trend line is going to play an important role, which is going to be a strong line of resistance. But when we flip this resistance into support, then we could be seeing this new trend here to the upper direction. And in our case, if you look at this falling trend line, resistance, resistance, resistance. So now in immediate short term, right, if we do see any sort of a price movement here to the upside, then this line must be broken, because flipping this resistance into support could indicate some temporary price moving here to the upper direction. So that's why, guys, that's why for us this bump and run reversal could be on the line here in a smaller time frame. But one thing is definitely sure, for an actual movement here to the upside, I strongly believe the price of Bitcoin must break the previous high in a smaller time frame. I mean, if you look at the price movement here, now it's more of a lower highs, lower lows continuation pattern. So that's why if the price is going to see this relief rally after breaking above this falling trend line, right, then let's also look at this price range around 50,000 to 50,500. Why? Because if we do flip this resistance, then I am actually expecting the price of Bitcoin to see more of a continuation pattern here to the upside. And why around this 50,000 is so important to break is because not just only it's the previous high. If I would simply add the CPI indicator, which is a leading indicator, you can see exactly there we also have this monthly S1 line lining around. So 50,500 is definitely going to be one strong line of resistance for Bitcoin. And not just only this one here, guys. If you also remove the CPI and add the Fibonacci line, you can see exactly where this 50,500 line is acting as a resistance along with the CPI line. Also the 0.5 Fibonacci line, you can see 50,600 is lining exactly around that range. So now we have a lot of confluence around this 50,500 range. So that's why if an actual movement, right, is to happen, then this resistance line around 50,000 must be broken at any cost. Otherwise, this is just going to be a temporary relief rally type of scenario before price starts moving here to the downward direction. Because we are aware, if you have watched my video, I have talked about this one scenario. So guys, now if you have been watching some of my videos for a while, you know I have talked about this falling wedge breakout type of scenario, which turned out to be more of a bull trap. And this exact scenario which played out here, right, which played out here, could be also playing out in our price action. So that's why we have said around this price range of 44,000 is where we could be getting gravitated here in immediate short term, because the price of Bitcoin, if you look at this properly, guys, once the price had this fake out, the next pullback was always lower than the previous one. Again, similar scenario unfolded here, right? This pullback is again lower than the previous one. And in this case, you can see this could be more of a lower highs, lower lows continuation pattern type of scenario. So that's why what we don't want at any cost is to break the previous low, because breaking the previous low, right, will indicate a clear sign of weakness and price could be starting this actual trend reversal here to the downward direction. Because in that case, in a immediate short term, if we do see any sort of a movement here to the downside, then I have said we will be monitoring around this 44,000 price area, because this 44,000 is where the CPI line is lying around, right? And also if you look at this price structure a bit differently, I added this head and shoulder type of scenario on my yesterday's video, because if you look at this head and shoulder, you can see, guys, the price broke out of this neckline, and now if this is going to be a retest around the neckline area, then you can see this must be broken. This resistance line, which is lying around 47,600, 47,700, must be flipped to invalidate this head and shoulder. Otherwise, right, otherwise you can see the downward price movement which I showed you yesterday could be again around this 44,000 range where the CPI line is lying around. So let me show you with the CPI line. You can see this 44,000 is where we could be getting gravitated if the price of Bitcoin fails to continue this rally as a bump and run reversal pattern, and also this head and shoulder formation. So guys, these are some of the interesting scenario I wanted to share with you in today's episode. If you enjoyed my videos, guys, then please hit the like button, and for those individual watching this for the first time, hit that subscribe button and the bell. So by saying this, I'm signing out. My name is Anup. Bye bye, guys.